Hey guys, it's Sam from Bites Props, and today I'm going to show you how I cover my 3D prints in Worbla. Let's get crafting. Worbla is a thermoplastic that when heated can be formed and molded into different forms. I use this technique on my Marjana cuffs and necklace piece. Stay tuned for the final reveal of those pieces as well. Worbla has one shiny side and one matte side. The shiny side is where the glue resides, meaning Worbla can stick to itself if both sides are heated. Cosplayers use this all the time for armor and prop making. It's about 1mm thick, so it's just perfect to cover up any layer lines on 3D prints. There are several different types of Worbla, but for today I am using black Worbla. It gets the smoothest texture. It is pretty expensive, so I do save it for the smaller piece that I need more strength to. First, cut out an appropriate amount of Worbla that will cover your piece. Since this headpiece has a slight curve, I roll it on to get the right length. Extra is okay, as we will just cut it off later. I plan on using the fold over method, as the shape is quite complex. The back isn't fully hidden, so I will try my best to get the seams lined up. The sandwich method might have worked a little bit better in this case, but it was too late. Now that we have the right size, it's time to start heating up the Worbla. Use a heat gun for this step, as a hairdryer will not be hot enough to start heating up the Worbla. Also protect your work surface by putting a piece of parchment paper down. Don't do this on a cutting mat, as it will start warping. I start in the middle of the Worbla on the matte side in slow circular motions, and then once I see it starting to droop a bit, then I'll flip it over to the shiny side, and then that's when I can start seeing the change. So I'll heat up the whole entire piece of Worbla first. This will make it easier for when you go back to heat it up once it starts to cool down. Once it's finally droopy, just place it over the object and start using your hands to push it into all the crevices. Be careful, it is very hot and you can hurt yourself. There are gloves that you can buy online that will protect your hands from the heat. Start from the very center of the piece, working your way out. Here I use a popsicle stick to try and get it into the indents a little bit more. Clay modeling tools are a good option right here because they have a rounded tip, so you won't get the indents that popsicle sticks leave. Once the Worbla starts hardening again, just use your heat gun and slowly and carefully heat it back up in that spot. Try and angle your heat gun off of the actual 3D print. If the 3D print is hit with heat for too long, it can start drooping and melting. This happened to me as well. All you have to do is take the piece and make sure you hold it in the correct spot for a few seconds while the Worbla hardens. Work slowly and take your time with this. It's not a fast process, but it's better than sanding. Once you start folding it over and start getting excess on the back, feel free to cut it off. If it's too hard to cut off, you can heat it up just a little bit and then cut it off when it's pliable. Don't worry if you have any gaps, it's very easy to use any of the extra cut off to fill in the gaps. I had a few gaps behind the little horns, and I decided to add some more Worbla to the horns to make it more sturdy. The reason why I decided to cover this particular piece is because of those two horns at the top. Those are super easy to break, so I wanted to add a lot of strength to them. Especially since stuff gets broken pretty easily at a con or during travel.